Hey, my name is Vondakay and welcome to my YouTube channel. Roughly 9 months ago, I uploaded a YouTube video on my favorite video game.
1-2 rounds, but we're gonna focus a little bit on Luna here, because Luna owns Sandstorm.
After about a week, it got 300 views and I could not be more excited. All it was me recording a video talking about the Winter Championship and everything that happened during it. It was honestly the only thing I was proud of making in the past 4 years, so I made 20 more of them. And over the course of 9 months, I've made enough money to go to a Brawlhalla event, the World Championship of 2022. Luckily enough, my first ever video heavily focused on the pro player Snowy, who caught a lot of attention heading into the World Championship, dealing with the ban of another player. The final decision in being to ban him from attending the venue, and he showed up anyways. But that's not nearly as important as talking about Snowy's competitive pro player history and just how he made it to being a world champion, because I believe his indifference towards competition could not only help you get better at Brawlhalla, but if you manage to apply it to other aspects of your life, you'd probably be happier. In case this is your first time coming to my channel or you haven't been around in a while, I'm basically a Brawlhalla op, and some pro players have even deemed me as a detective or journalist that digs up things that no one else wants to know about and then talks about them. That's not really my intentions. I just talk about what's interesting and recapping the tournaments I really enjoy doing. In fact, I have a really weird skill when it comes to watching Brawlhalla. If you look through the VOD of every day of the world champion, you can almost guarantee see me in the front row if you look hard enough. I just really like watching people who are good at things do the thing they're good at. And just by the way, if you enjoy watching any part of this video, there's more of me out there. You can follow me on Twitch and subscribe to my channel to get notified when I upload again.
Could not come up with an oral response, and I forgot her name, even though I go to class with her like every day.
And like I said earlier, it fascinated me enough to make YouTube videos about it, which then made it so I could afford the trip to Atlanta. But someone who made enough earnings without YouTube, and actually who has more YouTube subscribers than me, is Snowy. Snowy is so good at Brawlhalla that he is the 7th most earning player of all time and has only been relatively known for the past 3 years. And if that isn't impressive enough, look at where he ranks among all the world champions. Okay, actually, I think the first graph was more impressive than the second graph. I should have done it in like a reverse order. I don't know.
Super colorblind. Wow.
The Winter Seasonal Championship is my favorite major of the year because you get to see a lot of people who promised they would do well after BCX fail because they don't do well, and they lied to us. Snowy usually used tournaments as more of practice, and Luna used money matches as his main source of practice. He also is really good at ledge dashing, which is a mechanic that like gets him in trouble once Luna figures out that every single time he gets near a ledge, he'll use the dodge mechanic to cancel his movement into a dash, and then Luna catches it with an N-sig, which is like a crazy read and just shows how good Luna is. The only difference in being that Snowy's movement is quite a bit better than Luna, and Luna likes to stay really close to his target, and that's not possible here because Luna cannot keep up with Snowy, and then you get to see Snowy's unarmed is like his main way of knocking people out. In addition to Snowy's unarmed, he also has his weapon throw mechanic, which has been nerfed solely because of how Snowy used it. If he could get 2 weapons on the field, he would juggle them into his opponent, throw them at the opponent, close space with them, and use them instead of using signatures whatsoever because the weapon throw is just so strong at this point. In addition to this, Luna is a hammer axe player. Snowy is just an axe player who switches between gauntlets or cannon. Snowy's axe is probably a good bit better than Luna's axe at the time of this tournament, and axe being the one of the best weapons in the game at this time, that would greatly help him in his matches.
For a projected statistic here. Big DC. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
Snowy is going to beat Luna in a best of 5, knocking him into losers. And then Snowy's going to go on to face Sandstorm, also take him to a best of 5, then beat him as well, sending him into the losers bracket to go face Luna. Luna then beats Sandstorm, and later on in an interview claims that he's partially the reason he made Sandstorm quit the game. If he's partially the reason he made Sandstorm quit the game, I don't see why Snowy or Java wouldn't be a reason either. But this would unfortunately paint Luna to be some sort of villain of the North American region, and even though he was the best and eventually became the champion of many majors to come, he was not nearly as well liked as the previous reigning champ of NA, and it kind of resembled that of like the #1 hero in My Hero Academia being overtaken by the #2 hero, and no one really liked him because he was mean and rude and only had good intentions the entire time but could only show it through this brute force attitude. That was Luna, and the truth is that Luna is not like this at all. He's just a nice guy, just really wants to win. But for a day, we got to see what it was like to have a different champion of NA.
Not a 0 to death just yet, and it won't be one, but Snowy might take it. Yep, that weapon toss. Snowy's got it
for the side air. The side sync does not happen this time.
This is the final stock. Snowy with the weapon toss. The recovery almost does it. An unarmed recovery might be enough. Luna has to go untouched. The side air, the weapon toss, the downline ground pound, and Snowy is going to be the North American winter.
Like I said earlier, Luna does go on to become the best player in North America. He wins Omen Oasis, he wins the next seasonal major, and then something happens in the summer, something that I think was looming over him, took place in his mental, and this is where we see the divide between Snowy and Luna as players when something mentally affects them. As we can see, Luna doesn't go into summers feeling well, and then doesn't perform well. One of his worst performances, if not his worst performance in the entire year. But Snowy had something a little bit different affecting his mental leading into the Brawlhalla World Championship. Personally, I find this story to be very childish and overly dramatic, but I'm going to summarize really quickly the reason that Dark Goul was banned from attending the Brawlhalla World Championship. Dark Goul and Snowy were both invited to Remy's Discord. There was an anonymous group of voters who then decided to remove Dark Goul from that Discord for no reason. Dark Goul then got upset, went on livestream, and blamed Snowy for the reason he got banned. His friend next to him was about to make a physical threat towards Snowy. This was then clipped and sent to a lead dev of Brawlhalla. Now, typically, since pro players are the only people with ties to the lead devs of Brawlhalla, this once again was pinned on Snowy, but it was never confirmed or denied by Brawlhalla. So to this day, we don't know who actually got Dark Goul banned other than Dark Goul himself and Snowy and the lead dev. But there's always their story, another side of the story, and the truth, and I don't have the truth. Regardless of who did what, this did hurt Snowy's image a lot leading into the BCX weekend. And not only that, but the additional expectation that America must win every single BCX competition was weighing on Luna and Snowy's shoulders, as Snowy was teamed with the best pro player for doubles of all time, Boomie, and Luna was the best player coming out of North America expected to win the BCX championship. And after all of that, the only thing stopping these players is everyone else in the world. Specifically, one very talented individual out of the United Kingdom known as Godly, also known as the best player in all of Europe, who is coming here to take both BCX titles in 2v2s and 1v1s. So in order not to be made fun of for an entire year after multiple years worth of victories, we cannot lose to Godly. On a side note though, Godly is my favorite player, you know, ever since Sandstorm left. Dude, I think that guy's awesome. BCX day one. You just got a guy banned. Not a lot of people like you now. You're wearing a $500 guest jacket. How do you think Boomie and Snowy are gonna do? Well, if you guessed anything other than Snowy being the best 2v2 player of all time at a LAN performance, then you'd be wrong.
Weapons in his hands. Oh, the interruption. Snowy was so clutch there to save Boomie. They were trying to get a lot. I think that obviously started. They started to get the. No, that was the first. That was the first sideline. So didn't get any of the DI off that actually, but still, Experience was not to be in position to actually catch that. Boomie with the turnaround potentially good save, but they're now both way off stage. And they're both out.
There's something about the synergy and charisma of Boomie that works perfect with Snowy's careless indifference towards how games go. What's interesting for Luna though is things don't really go as planned. So he makes it to the top 3 of the tournament, but not on the winner's side, but on the loser's side, because the 13th seeded player just so happens to be an absolute lanimal and knocked out Godly and Luna into the loser's side of the bracket. So instead of facing in the grand finals like the picturesque grand finals that everyone wanted, the first seeded player and the second seeded player of the tournament are fighting to stay in and leaving one of them in 3rd place. And we finally get our answer we waited all year for. Who would be better on the day of BCX? Would it be Luna or would it be Godly? And it would be Godly. Which just brings up a whole bunch of questions like, would Godly have won MSI? Is Godly the best player in the world? Is Impala actually the best player in the world? Does it matter because of seeding? Is it just cool that it happened? You know, it's a lot of questions now. But Godly does beat Luna on the day of BCX, and that is the end of Luna's BCX run, but not the last time he'll make an appearance in this video. You'll be surprised to hear about when Luna comes back into this story. But for now, I gotta focus on the rest of Boomie and Snowy's BCX tournament run, which as you could guess went pretty great all the way until they also had to go face Godly. And along with Godly, he decided to bring the most terrifying 2v2 player I have ever seen. Things are going really well, Snowy is absolutely unstoppable, Boomie keeps reminding him how many more rounds they have to win before the tournament is over, the combos are coming out left and right, the Onyx is looking like a great pick, Cross is a great pick, signatures, combos, everything is flowing fluently. That is until that 4th terrifying player decides to activate. And then it became a battle between, can we take down Fozy before he takes down us? So funny thing is that not only can I see this, but Boomie and Snowy can also tell that Fozy's really good. And in the tournament, they absolutely target him out of existence. When they go for this whole targeting Fozy strategy, Godly catches on. And even the casters announce it in the stands that Godly is not the best at stopping his teammate when they're getting ran down. Boomie and Snowy also happen to notice this too, and therefore whenever they're tracking down Fozy and Godly tries to intervene, when Godly inevitably fails the punish, they swap their combination over to Godly and then take him out. This ends up working so well that Godly actually gets knocked out first, leaving Fozy completely alone in the last round of the tournament. And then we get to see the Boomie classic of when he hits D-Light, he gets out of his chair because he already knows he's going to hit recovery for blasters.
I don't know if he can obey too much longer.
Therefore making Boomie and Snowy your 2022 BCX champions. But wait, that is not even the craziest thing to happen after winning BCX. Snowy would go on to drop Boomie, the guy he just won the world championship with, for Luna. And in return, Boomie would go back to his previous multi-world championship teammate, Sandstorm. And now what I find interesting about this is, as I've mentioned it countless times throughout this video, is that Snowy seems to be unemotionally affected by his placements. Luna seems to be very emotionally affected by his placements, leading me to believe that this team is going to be a combination of just immense skill and synergy or an absolute bust. You see, I believe the reason Snowy maintains his indifference is so that when he loses, he doesn't have reactions like Luna does, but the con being when he wins, it kind of feels lifeless. That is until like hours later when it sets in, you're like, oh my god, I did really well. And you know, you see this in his Twitter when he's like, oh hey, this wasn't that bad. This mentality of kind of blocking out how you feel in the moment is very popular in competition and in real life sports, and you can easily apply it. That was so loud. You can easily apply it into other facets of your life. Let go of things in the moment and just see what happens. Trying to let go of things can be very hard. I am constantly thinking about uploading to my YouTube channel or my Twitch or the Discord, follow them all, or my Twitter, follow it. And recently, not only did my computer explode on me, deleting all of its data, but I had to go up north for the holidays where my car tire then popped and I was stuck up there for a week. And that is why there's 28 days between this upload and my last, but it's whatever. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you for watching.